Hi guys, right now on the internet, the buffalo check jars that's what the craft is. That's all the rage. And so I thought, okay, well, I'll just show everybody how to do one. And so I just started off with just a clear, regular jar. And you can use whatever size you like. Some of them they've done with wine bottles. If maybe a pickle jar, you could use that. Just whatever you choose. And so I just started off with a plain little jar. And the first thing that I did is I spray painted it white with, this is gloss enamel. I don't think it has to be enamel. It could be just any, this is what we had on here at the on hand here at the library. So that's what I'm going with. So I sprayed it. I wasn't even real particular about how solid I got it. It's just to help the acrylic paint to adhere. Now, some of the videos don't show using the spray paint on it at all. They just go for it. Just that they might have used house paint, just basically whatever they had on hand. And what we have here at the library is this art acrylic paint. And I've decided to go with my, for my buffalo check, I'm going to use browns. And so my base color, I do not want to be just flat white. I want it to be in the brown spectrum. So we didn't have any really pale colors of paint. So I took some white and I took some peach and I mixed it together real good in a little cup. Now, if you're gonna do this, don't forget to make enough of one batch to cover your jar or what you're gonna use, because you may have a hard time getting the correct proportions and getting the right colors if you don't mix enough to begin with. So I've got my little jar all painted white, and I'm just gonna quickly put a coat of my darker color white. It's kind of a creamy color now. Now it does take a while for that enamel paint to dry. Even though this has been sitting in the sun, it's still a little bit sticky. But when I put this acrylic over it, it's fine. That stickiness, when this acrylic dries, it won't be sticky. As you see, I'm not being real picky with it, because we're going to have to do more than one coat. Okay, I'm going to set this to dry. And I've already done this step on another jar. And so I'm going to put the second coat on this jar. And then we won't have to wait as long for to get to the next step. This is a really busy day at the library. So we're kind of working this in between. I'm going to finish this, and they're going to sit and dry for a couple of hours, and then I'll be back with the next step. Okay, now something that you may want to do is put little pieces of tape around part of your jar to make sure that your tape is going to come out, that your spaces are going to come out even when you get all the way around your jar, because your lines, it may not line up right. Your tape could be too wide or it could be too narrow. So that's something that you want to check before you start taping off your jar completely. So I have some washi tape, and because that's what we have here. We could also use some painter's tape. You want some tape that doesn't have a whole lot of adhesive on it. And the way you get straight lines is you're gonna put your tape in between two, matching up the edges. Then you're gonna pull the tape that's in the center out. And then that's gonna leave you a straight line. Now, if you are a good artist, of which I have no artistic ability when it comes to paint especially, I couldn't do this freehand. But I have seen a couple of videos where people have done it freehand. And I won't say they didn't look good. They are a little more rustic looking. So if you like that kind of look, that's perfectly fine. And at the end, you're supposed to use some sandpaper on it to make it distressed. So, so if you want to hand do it, it will give it more of a rustic look. Get a little piece of Tor. It is stuck. Wait a minute. That's right. I'm so easily confused. So continuing all the way around the jar, butting your paper up. Or I should say your tape up against each other. Okay. Now I have a little place here where my tape folded. So I'm going to try to straighten that out because I don't want any whoppy jaws in my paint. And then there's this piece over here somewhere where it tore. Okay, well, I guess it's fine. All right, so you see how I've got my tape on for my stripes, and I've put a little brown paint, and I didn't mix this any. This is just a nutmeg brown Apple Barn acrylic. I guess it's acrylic, matte acrylic, and I'm going to paint. And because I've got my tape down here, I don't have to worry about my lines. I'm just going to paint right over them. And some of the videos say to dab it on with a sponge wedge. And it says, some of them say use 3 coats. You just need to judge with what yours looks like to see if it's going to need another coat. Mine, I'm going to tell you now, it's going to need at least a 2nd coat. If you put it on too thick, it's not going to want to dry. Still got a couple more. Alrighty, I'm gonna set this out in the sun and let it dry. And we'll go on to the next step. Because when it's dry, I'll go ahead and put the second coat on, and then I'll come back and show you the third step. So hey guys, now I am taping my jar off for my horizontal stripes. And I'll be using the same light brown paint that I used for the vertical. Oh, 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 oh. Didn't want to pull that one off. Okay.
What?
Hmm?
Let's let that dry.
Okay. All right. Patricia thinks I ought to leave it on until we let it dry. So we're going to let this dry and we'll be back. Okay. So now I'm going to tape over all the white and the light color. The first one of these that I did, I started off with the dark colored tape. I mean with the dark colored paint. I did not think it would matter, but it absolutely does matter because the light color paint, I'm going to be painting over the light color paint, making it dark. And the light color paint would not paint over the dark color. I hope that makes sense. But I'm darkening up the light color so that we will get our gingham check pattern, our buffalo check pattern. And I've been keeping paper towels, and I've had them a little damp, they've started to dry out, over my paint so that it won't dry out. Okay. Now I'm going to paint over the light with the dark. Okay. I'm going to pull off the tape and reveal our checkered pattern here. Some of it's gonna be stubborn. But I'm seeing the pattern. Yay! Yay, look at our pattern. Now I can go back and touch up some, or I can leave it the way it is. Wrong spot. It's not dry. I didn't have any brown jute. I'm gonna do this while it's wet. Hopefully not ruin anything. You don't have to put the jute on it. You can put some pretty ribbon on it. If you have some brown jute, that would probably look a little better. There we go. There we go. I like it. Now this is the one where I messed it up because I did not start off with the light colored paint. And these are fresh flowers from the library garden. Aren't they lovely? We've got a good selection of flowers out there. So anyway, I hope you guys try the buffalo check pattern on the jars, and I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.